This is my attempt at becoming a 2000 ranked ELO chess player on chess.com. Um, I've previously got pretty high, pretty close as far as 1800. Um, so we'll just see how it goes. Typically I float around 1600, but when I got my ranking yesterday, I dropped a couple of games. So we're starting at a nice humble 1333. Um, and I'm just going to try and play a game every day and use this as a tool to review my games better and spend more time thinking on my moves, which I'm historically pretty guilty of not doing, um, which I think most people can relate to. So, so yeah, hopefully, maybe you can learn something from my mistakes, and I can learn something from my mistakes, and just slow and steady wins the race. I feel like if people were to analyze their game, or if I were to analyze my games better than I do, because I don't even analyze every game I play. Now I will. um, and just keep it to one game a day and see how far we can get. So that being said, let's jump into a game. 10-minute rapid playing. Gosh, Fajago Banget from Indonesia. I am a Queen's Pawn player. I like to play the London. Yawn, I know. Um, but I like to play the Jababa London, which um, is knight here, and hoping to target this pawn with a bishop here. That's basically the idea of the Jababa. Um, that being said, if you can put two pawns in center, um, you should try and do that. So we'll take the center. So I'm a queen's pawn player, but with the proviso of I like to play my king's pawn out if possible. This breaks an opening principle, queen out early, but we need to be aware that we can't just ignore that. For example, a move like this, which is a normal developing move, would hang the pawn. So I'm just going to develop my second knight, bring another defender onto this pawn. Okay. So if bishop comes here, then I hang this pawn. But potentially we can think about targeting this queen with a move like this. Looks quite nice. Don't see anything wrong with that. So it's about danger levels. Queen targets pawn now. Could either go here, but this does tend to leave this pawn undefended. And if the bishop gets kicked, then this maybe becomes a bit of a problem. That being said, I could castle next move if I do develop my bishop. Let's go for it. We may find the bishop gets kicked. I think maybe that may have been a mistake actually. I feel like the bishop getting kicked is maybe going to be a bit of a problem. We may find that we lose this pawn. Okay, so if I take back, then I lose the bishop. you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to take back. I'm actually going to go here. Defending bishop. It looks kind of scary, but I think it's fine. And if it takes here, I'm happy with that because we'll castle long. So maybe, yeah. So I could take back with queen, which will preserve my castling long. But then knight takes and then the bishop hangs. So it's probably better to just take here. Opponent will take here. They'll be happy because I'll lose castling rights. Because, well, I won't lose castling rights, but I won't want to castle either way now. So kind of a sloppy start. And they're up a pawn. So they're playing really well, to be fair. But the most important thing is we didn't hang a bishop. So I can't push there because then can take. So probably best just to pull back here. Now it may be an idea to go here. I see nothing wrong with that. Connect the rooks. Now we have 1, 2, 3 pieces developed and our rooks connected, and black only has the queen out. Um, so now we can think about an attack. Where can we? Obviously, I can go. Just thinking, if I go pawn here, and black plays another move that doesn't move the queen, then I can put my rook here and trap the queen. So yeah, this is that looks really good. Just looks like a nothing move. But it does trap El Queenie, I believe. Queen's got nowhere to go. This is the problem about bringing your queen out too early. Broker principle, and I played some pretty horrendous moves. And yeah, it was fairly easy to recover from um, because black broke an opening principle. Can't ignore this because queen will knight will take queen back, and so I'm just looking at. Just need to make sure that whatever I do to rescue my queen doesn't allow black to free their queen from its bondage. So I think just taking back's fine. Queen still has nowhere to go. So we're doing all right. Uh, no, like to go? We'll just bring in the queen. I'm not scared of this because king can just move. The rooks are far too late to get to the d file. So this is looking pretty game, set, and match at this point. So black just broke an opening principle by bringing the queen out far too early. And yeah, it was. I could obviously take rook, but far nicer to just put my queen here. And this is pretty unstoppable now. Yeah, here we are. So good game. And yeah, let's review this. So yeah, I was in trouble for a good portion of that game. Um, two mistakes. Let's go. Right. Yeah. So yeah. So even though I'm a queen spawn player, try and take the center with the second pawn where possible. And already I'm 1.6 up at this point. Aha. So preferred this move. And then where does queen go? Queen has to go somewhere. Maybe here? Yeah. And then I could go here, allowing that. But then what if... Okay. Yeah, and this is all defended. Yes. Okay. That's not what happened. I went bishop out. Probably allow black into the game a little bit there. What was the better move? Yeah, that was a good move there. So better to do this. Hmm. Yeah. Black's doing fine there, really. Ah, ah, ah. Self-analysis, didn't I? Yes, it was correct to take with pawn there, but I was really in trouble from basically this bishop move was a mistake because it allowed the knight to take. And then I was in trouble. So d2 was good. Correct to take the pawn. And then this move allowed me back into the game. It was better to have put my bishop there, threatening this. So king would have had to have gone there. Yeah, so this was a real kind of just rookie error, just bringing the queen in close to the king, but really the queen can never checkmate by herself. So I did consider long castling there. Um, yeah, obviously it drops that pawn, but Yeah, king's very safe on this side. But yeah, just moved it up. And again, another pawn move rather than develop the knight. And this still keeps his bishop locked in. Uh, Tactically win a pawn. So yeah, so had I moved my rook over straight away, um, could have won a pawn. This next move would be a blunder. Yeah, so just developed a piece rather than realize the threat. Um, the queen being trapped could have taken with pawn apparently. Yeah, because yeah, again, silly not to have taken back with pawn there because this felt like I was exposing my king for some reason, but with the bishop being blocked in, the queen cannot go here because obviously the rook defends. And had the queen gone here, king would have just recaptured, so should have been fine. And then it was pretty foregone conclusion from here because the black was just so late in development that yeah, nothing could be done. So it was a nice, easy game to start with. Uh, yeah, maybe we'll do another one. Playing Mustafa from Saudi Arabia. Yes. Normally I'll play the French defense, hence the name of this account. But as my opponent has not claimed the center, I will claim the center with 2 pawns. So following same principle as last time. So pinning knight and it's now a threat. And typically, I never like to push my f pawn. It's never a good idea to move your f pawn because this diagonal can be exploited. But in this instance, with the knight pinned and likely to be taken by the bishop, I could consider moving my f pawn up because the queen can't get to h5 with the knight in the way. Or I could put my queen out. The queen out seems, or I could put my queen here even. That looks fine actually. Let's do that. This is coming. Let's go here. Typically, I'm always happy to trade a knight for a bishop, so never hurts to encourage your opponent to do that. Okay. I'm not worried about this at the moment because I can just take. I'd like to go here and here, which will allow me to play f3 still. I really want to play f3, but I want a castle first. I think I'll push there. I'm happy to castle. I'll reinforce if I can. This is maybe coming. Opponent should really develop then last night, just looking a bit sorry for itself on the back rank. Sorry for my terrible lighting, by the way. I'm going to get a proper light. Um, I need to turn the banner off as well, don't I? Um, okay, I'm not too worried about this, but I am worried if pawn pushes now, so which will trap my bishop. Let's let's go here. If bishop takes, I can just retake with pawn. Now we've got some real threats coming. Doesn't make much sense to put my bishop here because it's just packed with pawns. So providing defense to this pawn will be its only use. It's probably better to just develop, put it here at this point, connect my rooks. I'm not really worried about that because um, now I can offer the queen trade, and if it accepts, I'll take back with knight, hitting pawn. Be conscious of their bishop looking at my rook. But if they refuse the queen trade, then I can maybe think about, I know they're quite happy with that. So, as am I. So, opponent needs to defend the pawn now. And this is probably coming. Have I got time to do rook here, then knight here, then knight here? I think so. Or I can play maybe this. Prefer this, I think. Lift the rook up. This will come. Knight here, then reroute. This knight is really pinned down to defending this bishop because I'd really like to. Well, I was going to say I'd really like to take that bishop without the knight defending, and then put the rook in kind of a silly place whilst that pawn is there. But opponent's doing a good job at finding something at the moment. Bit worried that the positions become closed. The knights are becoming slightly better than the bishops. Let's go here. Knight here, here, then where? Maybe there, there, there. Hmm. I feel like the opponents played pretty fine. Slightly late in development, but yeah, they've closed the position down, which is what you want to do when you've got two knights rather than yes, okay, so let's push here. Now this is not a threat. This knight can't easily jump anywhere because I think what they're trying to do is add an extra defender onto here. But really, I'm just happy for them to take here, and then I can develop my knight. Um, and then, is that of any use? Or do I want to go here and bring rook over, rook over? Might make more sense. But this rook will have to move last because it's at the moment it's defending this pawn, uh, defending this file, putting pressure on this pawn. So okay, not too worried about this. Worried about that, obviously. Um, go ahead. Okay, that's a free knight. Don't know what that was. I think maybe my opponent just didn't see. Yeah, this bishop's been quietly sat there for a while, and this is probably why it made more sense to develop the bishop here and not there. Would have been quite passive on this square. So yeah, glad to have put the bishop there, and opponent forgot it was there, seemingly. I'm gonna watch my clock, but we're a whole bishop up now. And I think we can go. Can so obviously maybe need to think about defending that. Uh, and if I go here, then I can't calculate too much. I think I need to just throw the kitchen sink at the king side now, to be honest. This is so much of a threat with the rook looking at the king. Apologies for my clunky arrow drawing, by the way. I'm still getting used to, well, narrating games as I play them, which just adds another layer. Um, but also using the arrows. Okay. So yeah, I think now I'm happy to just put my rook here, create the battery onto the king. This is looking pretty good now. Probably gonna have to push this, but then after this, it's looking quite nice. Is king gonna come here? Maybe I move back and okay. Yeah, so here's a nice checkmate to finish. There we go. Happy days. Game review. Right. Oh, what happened? Came out of our review. So game review. So again, another game where I just took the center.